Okay, guys, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I'll be your friendly referee today, because today we're carrying on our ongoing campaign playing Mongoose Publishing's outstanding science fiction role-playing game, Traveler, 2nd edition. And we are playing through, we had started this campaign playing the Borderland Run module, and we're segueing into the wider reach of, wider regions in the Trojan Reach. And Pirates of Drinax, while we're not necessarily playing that specific module, we are going to be drawing on a lot of material from that and from its supporting content. So Pirates of Drinax sounds like a good name for the game now. I will say as well, if you are intent on playing Pirates of Drinax at some point, this session and the other ones going forward will likely contain spoilers for that, so just proceed accordingly. If you have played Pirates of Drinax, or if you don't intend on playing Pirates of Drinax, or if you're intending on running Pirates of Drinax, well then, welcome! Let me introduce you to the crew of the Rift Wanderer. I'll go the order I've got you guys on the screen here. Why don't you tell us who you are and who you're playing today. I should say as well, too, apologies for the late start today. We had some tech issues, but we have sorted them out, and we are ready to take flight once again. First up, we've got James.
I'm James, and I'm playing Captain Gani, engine tinkerer of the Rift Wanderer.
And proud graduate of the University of Space Phoenix.
16 times.
Next up is Carl.
Hello, I'm Carl, and I'm playing Anchor Guvel, who is a ex-Imperial Navy, Imperial-raised Vargur. Uplifted dog, canine species. He's a pilot.
Next up is David.
Hi, I'm David. I'm playing Dr. Ilyas Abdel, a researcher, physician, and part owner of the Rift Wanderer.
Very nice. And last, but certainly not least, is Graham.
Hi, I'm Graham. I'm playing Laris Zathu. Laris is a Darien from the Darien Confederations. He's far away from his home. He is an intelligence analyst and a gunner, at least in simulations.
Yeah, exactly. It's like everyone who insists they know how to fly from a flight simulator video game. Guys, so last session we had sort of focus sessions on Laris and on Anchor. But what do you guys recall having happened last time? We were still on the world. And let me bring us over there. Is this everybody? So I think there's some we can start moving down a scooch because they were not in our last session. What do you guys recall about last time?
Well, I will pitch it at least one thing I can remember, because my memory is pretty faulty. But we were going to get a visitor unexpectedly.
Yes.
From back in Aslan's space, a slightly lower ranking official who missed out, as it were, on the events that took place around Tila Tora and his duel. And he had this person that was coming also has a son who we were speculating maybe he was looking for some kind of angle or opportunity for his son, particularly given the crew of the Rift Wanderer had basically made such a strong impression and name for themselves throughout this whole endeavor. So it was largely, I'm going to say to the rest of the crew, your reputation that I think brought this person. I've forgotten his name, I'm afraid.
Fatakewa.
Thank you.
All these Aslan names, you know.
I know, it's tough for you, Varga, isn't it?
We really need to get back into Imperial space where people have got proper names like my character.
I was reviewing notes and I found your full name when I was looking through them, like, that is going to take some practicing. Yeah, Fatakewa apparently has a son who has also gone a Hate, and given the
yes.
outcome of your support of what seemed to be a doomed Ihate, someone who had been manipulated into not only just putting himself in a position where he would be killed, likewise also dishonoring his entire clan, and by proxy the sort of related allied clans. You guys managed to sort of turn all of that on its head. Fetakewa has, I believe, it wasn't a request for a meeting, it was an invitation to an audience. He was favoring you with an audience with him.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys recall from last time? I think I've got a handout as well that might prompt a memory from Laris.
Oh yeah. There was a gift from Tila Tora.
Yeah, and
I think very much of those. I think Elahasa, quote unquote, did the gift sourcing because she knew what she was doing.
Yeah,
and it was a case about so long, literally a case big enough to hold what you can see in the image, which, as it says, is a Sindalan artifact.
Yeah.
Did we work out what it was? And no, it's not a toothbrush. We established it probably wasn't.
We discussed.
Or a sonic toothbrush.
It looks like
It looks like a gas igniter for your hob.
Oh, you go. Could be that
Tech
as well.
level 15 for getting your gas.
Sort of fusion generator igniter or something. I kind of hoped it was a key. It was a key to some kind of. That's kind of one of the things we were looking at. Is it actually?
That is correct. And I think you rolled incredibly well in your archaeology roll as well.
Oh yeah.
It turns out that this is the. It's a symbol of station for like high-ranking bureaucrats in the Sindalan Empire, which also doubled as a way of accessing certain locations.
It's the we put it into the big flying city, and then we can control it, I think.
It would have whatever authority that the related bureaucrat would have. This would be the way that they would access all that stuff. So who it is, who it belonged to, what planet it's from, because we did spend some time last session on the big map talking about the extent of the influence of the Sindalan Empire at its peak. And the Sindalan Empire from, where is it here? Noricum was right here, stretched out as far as Yggdrasil, and then down into what is now Hyrite colonies and around. So it did have a substantial reach in the region. A reach in the reach, if you will. Boo! Boo, Madison. So that is, what that means is there's a lot of possible places that this could, it could reach. We talked a little bit about places that might have information about it as well, where you could learn more about this particular thing. There are certain places that have strong ties to to Drinax. One of those, of course, or to Drinax, to Sindal. A little bit of a Freudian slip there, or Oleb slip, as it's called. Drinax, of course, the Flying City, has a lot of information about Sindal. Is it Asim? No, there's another one. Paul. Yeah. Paul also has a fair bit of surviving resources about Sindal itself. Paul, closer to the Drinaxi line. Drinax, you may remember, is the successor empire to them. But the Golden Queen of Yggdrasil is a more direct line from Sindal.
Oh, the Golden Queen. I remember her.
Yeah. Yggdrasil takes its name from the incredibly advanced beanstalk elevator that goes from the surface up into orbit. And it is a relatively newfound wealthy outpost on account of the trade along the Florian line here. or the Florian chain, trade to and from the Florian League, either from the High Rich going in or from the Third Imperium, is quite expensive. And there was the Golden Queen did come up a second time as well in relation to a case of mistaken identity that nearly caused a bar brawl with Anchor. And that was Corporal Vishnu Zarka.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Anchor.
We're gonna get into a fight. Yeah, we did pretty well on that.
You did really well. Yeah. It was you managed to talk your way around. Vishnu Zarka appears to have connections to the traitor Admiral Darrakan, who has set himself up as a pirate in and around Thieves. Zarka seems to have been a pawn, potentially, of Imperial intelligence. He's an ex-Imperial Marine. He seems to have been a pawn of the Golden Queen at some point as well, and managed to get himself in person with Darrakan after almost a decade, and seemed to attack him, and somehow was not murdered right away by Darrakan. He was instead sent off with a fellow pirate captain to serve with them. It seems that this old spacer, do you remember anything about it, Carl, about what his connection to Zarka was?
No, sorry.
No, it's again, got a lot going on in a lot of games, and this is one tiny bit of trivia. So Zarka was serving on a ship called the Eviscerator.
Sorry.
They're not really like trying to be subtle.
Again.
Subtlety among the Third Imperial Navy is for cowards.
Yeah, the Sweet Lily. No, the Eviscerator.
Exactly. Should we call it the Sugar Bell? Fuck that. Let's call it the Cut the Head Off. The Eviscerator was the Imperial ship that was detached to hunt down the one of the vessels that was designed or tasked with hunting down the renegade admiral. It appears that the Zarka was part of some kind of plan to send a separate ship into the admiral's fleet and then sort of ambush him. He went missing, and in the time when he was missing, the Eviscerator was found destroyed, lost of all companions, and with Zarka's wife and twin children among the missing, presumed dead, having been attacked by aliens. This guy was on leave from the Eviscerator when all this shit happened. So he had the misfortune of sort of washing out of it and working with a bunch of, scout, detached unit scout folks. And he thought that Anchor was allied with this guy because he mistook Dane. Dane was, rumors clearly got around the station that a former Imperial Marine has now thrown in with the Aslan. And this guy thought that Anchor was allied with, that Dane was Zarka, and that he was allied with yet another traitor. Fortunately... go ahead.
No, so just to say, so just to be clear, was the Eviscerator eviscerated?
The Eviscerator lived up to its namesake.
It did. Okay,
Turns out it should have gone to the Sugar Bell because it would have gone to the planet of candy instead.
Okay.
There was Anchor being as keen, on conspiracy theories, both in abstract and in practice.
I made my roll for...
Yeah, and he realized, like, fuck, that's where I was forgetting, because there's always been a theory. There was an entire fleet that was tasked with taking down this admiral, and there are careers that were ruined as a result of his lack of success. So there's a lot of conspiracy theories about why the admiral was allowed to escape. If it is a bluff operation or whatever, there's a lot of people's careers who ended over the failed attempt with this. And added to that, now hearing about Corporal Vishnu Zarka, there's added conspiratorial thought as to why Darrakan just didn't kill him particularly after he attacked him and allegedly had 4 people drag him off him. You may be asking, well, how do we know so much stuff about this one guy? It's because somebody leaked his journal, and it has made the way up and down the space lanes. You got a lot of time to kill when you're, in transit. So it's very easy to read what this guy's gone through, which includes, being apparently sold in low berth cryostasis to the Golden Queen, and then having to work off a debt to her, then serving as a pirate. So there's a lot of people who know who this guy is. He's not particularly noteworthy beyond sort of like an interesting trivia thing, but it is rare you get that much of an insight into someone whose life has been that interesting and is connected to someone who does cast a fairly large piratical shadow over the region. So that was a second thing you guys learned about, was the notorious Corporal Vishnu Zarka, who it seems is not, I'm telling them, Anna, who is not Dane Laverick. Anything else you guys recall?
I've got a note. Mm-hmm. Maybe this is something on the Anurin system.
The Noricum system?
That might be something else.
Sir, what was that? It broke up just a little bit. One sec here.
Is it the Anurin system or something? Inurin?
Maybe
not. Maybe not. Might be something else. Don't worry about it.
No. Let me take a look. I don't remember offhand what that is. Let's see here. Huh. I don't know if they pushed through an update on Zoom, but the audio quality on Zoom has been affected this weekend. Yeah. So something where, because I was getting a little bit of.
Is it just me?
No, it was just you, but it wasn't. That it happened yesterday with both John and with Will in the session. So it's something that Zoom has pushed through now.
Okay.
So let me take a look here. It was the Inurin.
I think I'm.
Oh, you know what it was?
Yep.
It was. Let's see here. I think I'm going to have to go and close the blinds. Somebody's pissing off Anna.
Right. We had that woman come and talk to us about becoming freedom fighters against the against that company.
I'll be right back, guys. Just 1 second. Hey, nice.
Judico. Is it Judico?
Yeah, Judico.
Yeah, Judico.
Yeah, back on
everyone's favorite company.
Yeah, back on Spurl. I guess we're now notorious freedom fighters.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you.
How did we manage that? I don't remember us
Did we go
being
there?
active in that field too much.
Do you remember what? Apologies if you've already said this. Do you remember what their what they wanted help with, or what their context was for contacting you? Let me see if I've got another reminder here.
Who was it? What was
It was like some woman.
So her name, I can give it to you in a sec here. And there was this gentleman played a role in the region. So one of the reason they contacted you, it seems that word has come back to Spurl about, because Anchor, you may remember when we started the session, you guys had rented that boat to have some time, out on the waves. Anchor, being the chatty Cathy he is, got to chatting with the person they rented the boat from. Seems that they have contacts with this Free Spurl Society. And the word that came back from Argona was that corporate interests tried to murder a Union hero among the mining things. Errol Maitler, I think was his name. Yeah, Mailter.
Yeah.
And what what ended up happening is the word that got back to them is that you guys had basically protected him from corporate interests, got him to there, and then he was able to help negotiate a resolution to a potential miners' strike. So you guys are seen on Spurl by at least some of the people as Union heroes. And
Right.
it's to that end that a woman named...
Regular Molly McGuire's.
Exactly. Let's see here. Her name is Armandi Kern. And I think I've got... Yeah, here we go. There's Armandi Kern. She wants to meet with you guys, but wants to meet on Inurin.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's it.
Yeah. The reason being is because, obviously, guys, you want to guess what corporate interest controls Spurl and the starport? Junico. We bring the best in everything. You have no choice.
Everyone's most fun nemesis, Judico.
Yeah. So, there we go. Junico controls the flow of the yields drawn from the spur whales going on and off planet. They also control the starport. It also means that they get to control kind of the cost of things going on and off the planet. And there are locals on Spurl who are not happy with that arrangement. Sadly, there's not really an expiration date for Junico contracts. Junico contract. It's written in stone. No, really. So what I think there wasn't a decision made with respect to that, but there was some talk about how you may travel there.
Yeah. But we had to talk to you guys before we decided to.
Yeah, because you guys are currently on the world down here, and to get to Inurin, it's right over here. It's unclear what Fetakewa wants to meet with you about, or what task that might involve.
And he's meeting us on the world.
He's coming to the system where the world is, and then you're invited to meet with him. Yeah. You've been offered an audience with him, and I believe he has brought not only his 600-ton clan transport, it's accompanied by 2 combat scouts. So, and I have handouts for those as well.
Kind of like a little flotilla.
Yeah, a mini, clearly he's trying to impress somebody.
Yeah.
With what he's doing.
With a couple of scouts and a...
So here's the clan transport that's about 3 times the size of your ship, and is accompanied by 2 combat scouts that are about the size of your vessel, but much more heavily armed. Also faster, not to... cast aspersions on your M drive, but they're substantial.
Not to rub it in anymore. No.
Your jalopy has many good qualities. So this is it. I believe that word had come that it had dropped in system when we last in our last session. There was one more thing I think you heard about. It was a rumor about Sindal and things that Laris had uncovered. Do you remember anything about that, Laris? If not, I can start in with the rumor you heard, and you can take over if and when it jogs your memory. Okay. So this is from about 200 years ago. I've spared you my best, Golden Girls impression. Picture it. Sicily. 200 years ago. Let's see here. Where? I think it's in this book. Hold on. Nope. it's in this book. So I made notes of where shit is. David, this is something for you to look forward to when you're running Massive Nyarlathotep. It's just like, where did I put it? Is it in this book? No, it's in this book. All right. So this was the rumor of Captain Jomao Envai. 200 years ago, give or take, Captain Jomao Envai seems to have been on the run from several of his enemies, none of whom were individually powerful, but collectively added up to more than what he could deal with. According to the story, Captain Envai hid his ship in a cavern he found deep inside the side of a canyon on some nameless outsystem rock. Cleverly rigging a temporary seal over the entrance, he was able to create a livable space where his crew undertook emergency repairs. Not knowing exactly what was in the cavern, it's not known what was exactly in the cavern, but after emerging, Captain Envai launched a series of attacks on his enemies, including a 3-ship pirate band and a starport merchant who had double-crossed him. Some were eliminated in graphic fashion by assassin robots, others intercepted and destroyed by Envai's strangely potent starship. His final fate is unknown, but it's said that he became rich in a short period of time and set himself up as a free port baron. Other versions of the tale claim he systematically pillaged the ships of a merchant line that had opposed him with the intent of forcing it out of business. His ship was eventually destroyed in battle with an escort frigate, leaving his stashed loot somewhere waiting to be found. The popular opinion is that he found a stash or cache of technology dating from the Sindalan Empire. The difficulty is people are in dispute as to where that outsystem rock is located. So Laris has some basic information. One of the things that you're going to find over the next leg of our campaign, as you guys discover and find certain things, you can do further research at places that know a fair bit about where you have access to information about the Sindalan Empire, and that might narrow things down, not only for this rumor, if there is any truth to it, but also with respect to the gift that Laris received from the Tilatoral and Elihase. So, I believe that covers all the things we uncovered last time. Captain Gani and Dr. Ilias, have you any questions about what you've uncovered thus far before we talk about your time?
I think it was quite succinct. I think today is with once we get into it, obviously, in his mind, the whole free spiral thing is more of a, not something he would necessarily entertain, but it's more like Anger's wheelhouse. But overall, that was all quite
We
clear,
have an
I think.
old saying in the medical community: "Not my dog, not my fight."
Yeah.
What about you, Captain Gani?
Not Imperial, doesn't matter.
I mean, it's on the way back to Imperial space, though.
It's not.
In Urine, yep. Thought it was.
It's on the way to Imperial space. It's not an Imperial.
No.
not
Yeah, it's
nowhere
on the
near
way
it is.
to.
Yeah.
Nothing really matters. At all.
Outside the border is outside the border.
All right. So then, if you have no questions about that, then let's talk about what decisions you have to make. So, Captain Gani, one of the things you mentioned is that you were taking scans and detailed information of the Aslan fleet that was present at Tyok. Did we make a roll for that yet, or did we... I can't remember if we did when you were in orbit or not. It strikes me as something I probably would have asked for.
Yeah, I think we did.
We did. Okay, great.
In which case, it sounds like we should roll for luck.
Yes, we should roll for luck. That's right. Yeah. Everyone give us a D6 roll. Let's see how much luck you're operating with today.
Oh, look at that.
And David, your absence last session, things went to hash with our luck.
Oh, no. I'm sorry.
So it's 16 today. Pretty good, guys.
Wow.
Yeah, see, we should take on Judico.
With 16 luck, absolutely.
Let's do it.
We only needed audience donations to get through the last time you guys had a fight, so I'm sure you guys will be fine. Now, speaking of the Judico, however, let's see here. It's actually going to factor into one of the decisions that Captain Gani has to make here. So, Captain Gani, I don't think you're on detached service with the Scouts, are you? No, you're not.
No.
So, one of the things, and forgive me if I'm telling you stuff you already know, there are really two key kind of intelligence gathering apparatuses that the Third Imperium relies on. One of them is naval intelligence. Naval intelligence, however, tends to be focused on within the borders of the Empire. There is also a Scout Corps intelligence gathering network too that deals with more folks on the outside of the Empire. The Scout Service intelligence is made up of people who are under detached service to the Scout Service because, again, forgive me if I'm telling you what you already know, if you're on detached service, you can be called up to do a task for the Scout Service really at any time because they have financed your ship in part. The Scout Service intelligence typically, and Captain Gani, you're going to be in a unique position to sort of have an idea of how each of these operate. The Scout Service can be more thought of as passive intelligence gathering. As you gain information, you pass it along, up it goes in the chain, and then folks will choose to deal with it how they choose. Naval intelligence is more active. It is more of the actual infiltrating places and doing things, but they, again, tend to not operate outside of the borders of the Imperium. The Trojan Reach, however, given its location as a kind of buffer zone between a potential belligerent force and here, has the unique distinction of having both active in its area. However, you do need to, because of the risk of other belligerents picking up information, you kind of need to deliver that information in person or trust it to the mail. And for a lot of reasons, there may be reasons why you wouldn't want to trust it to the mail. The location of the two people that you can pass information along that you're aware of, Captain Gani. You know that there is someone in, and let's go to the map here, the Scout Service, the person you would want to speak to pass information along on the, or in the Scout Service, is someone located in Varito. Now, Varito is notable because it used to have one of the most advanced starports anywhere in the Trojan Reach, anywhere in this, in fact, arguably anywhere in the sector. The reason I say used to is because it was subject to a terror attack not long ago that the Hyrit has done nothing to try and conceal that they were behind. They didn't actually lay claim to the terror attack, but it's obvious that it was Aslan who infiltrated and who just made such damage to the starport that it is currently rated, let me double check here. I can't remember what the rating it is now, but it's like a B or a C on account of the damage that was done in that terror attack.
Where is this place, sorry?
So Varito is 2 parsecs to Rimward.
Yes, thank you, Varito.
Hey, guys.
Thank you.
Varito also is heavily sponsored by Judico. Judico,
Really?
see? It's not all bad.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Mm-hmm. And the thing, there is a local government on Varito, but it, even in comparison to other Judico-sponsored places, it is effectively a Judico-run border thing. And the Aslan have refused to deal with Judico now, at least the Aslan traders, the Aslan corporations, or trade associations. And they've made it pretty clear, without actually making a dictate, that if you... that they consider Judico a hostile organization. The terrorists attacked them about... this is within the last, 10 years. Judico, it seems, has not made any response in that time. It was a tech level 15 Class A starport and shipyard, capable of building new mega freighters and escorts for the corporation, up until the attack. However, it is the place that is on the cusp of getting into the Hyrit's colonies in the Reach, and it's where the Scout Service, your contact for the Scout Service, is located. Whether they've got ties to Judico, it's probably pretty likely. Judico wouldn't have the influence it does without, having... It's located in the DNEP sector originally, so it is truly an Imperial corporation. The other option is the rulers of Torpal here have paid for I believe it's a cruiser or a heavy cruiser to help with security in there. And among the advisors to keep that thing operating for the local rulers, there is a small detachment of retired Imperial Navy. One of those individuals is a member of Naval Intelligence.
Okay.
So depending on whether you wish to go to one of the more active places where they may actually take steps with the information that you provide, Torpal could be the destination for the naval contact, and Verito would be the contact for the Scout Service. Given that it was the last place you served, you probably have a better working relationship with the contact in Verito than you do the other. The other would be, through rumors you've heard that the person is there. You may not have the name of specifically who you need to talk to, but it's sort of an open secret that somebody within their, the retinue of retired Navy that are keeping this cruiser running for the locals, they're part of Naval Intelligence.
Okay.
Okay. Have you any thoughts immediately as to who, setting aside the different locations of the places, does Captain Gani have a preference between the two of them for delivering that info? Or intel, I suppose, would be.
Probably the Navy, but that's more his old hankering. But, as you say, the Scout Service is probably more practical because it's a long way to Torpal.
Mm-hmm. And has anyone, I guess first off, have you discussed with the others the reason for collecting that intel, or even the fact that you were doing it?
Well, I'd assume that Anchor will have noticed me taking
talked about it.
Okay. So then have you discussed with the crew at all as to what you want to do with this intel?
No, probably not.
Okay.
Need to know and all that.
If Anchor knows that you have collected the information, then I imagine it's one of the pins in his conspiracy board. Yeah. But would Anchor have followed up with Captain Gani as to what he's going to do with that intel, or do you trust that he's just going to do with it as he sees fit?
Oh, I trust the captain. It's fine.
Okay.
He's not a Giordani spy or anything, so.
No, I'd be
waiting to offload it. Was he? I thought he was in. No, he never interacted or with me when I had my conspiracies. I don't think.
I don't think so. No.
I don't think so.
I think you came across Dane at one point. one operation, but
Anchor has stopped a sabotage plot, a mutiny plot,
yeah.
corruption within the ranks. You probably would trust the scouts a little more, but whatever Captain Gunny decides.
Okay, so Captain Gani, as far as the decision of where to go, are you just going to leave that? This intel obviously has a stale date on it, so the more timely it is delivered to the others, to whoever your contact is, the more value it's going to be to them, and the more prestige it'll bring you in whichever place you go. I'm sure that's not why you're doing it, but
Captain Gani's not big on prestige.
How's he going to get the command of a cruiser?
He never went anywhere near the University of Space Cambridge.
So then, will Captain Gani have discussed with Anchor or with Dr. Ilias and Alonso where to, what the plan is with this intel, or is it sort of you're going to turn it in as an opportunity if the opportunity presents itself?
Yeah, I think it's more that as the chance of if we could head south as it were to Torpal makes sense. Veritos is so far away that there's no way the crew will want to take 3 months out to get there, because it would take forever to get up there.
Which, Torpal?
Yes.
Torpal's only like 2 or 3 weeks away.
3 jumps.
Yeah, so that's 3 weeks away.
Veritos close. Veritos 1 jump.
Yep. So, then, would you have brought that decision to the crew? Because you would have to discuss whether you're going to Verito and
what else have we got on? Because Verito must be a good place for a commercial trip anyway, with GDCO there and the big base.
Yeah.
So I think I'd be suggesting to everyone that might be a good place for a commercial run.
We have been holding off talking about the speculative trade until we had most of the full crew together as well. So that conversation has yet to be had. The Verito has a Class E starport, and it is an amber controlled, but that is because of circumstances. It does have a gas giant as well, so you could save on fuel. But its tech level is A.
Ooh.
No, its tech level is E. First one is the tech level, right? Or is the first one the starport?
Starport.
So it's a Class E starport and a Class A tech level, I believe. So
Tech 10.
But nothing to write home about.
No, and the starport is a sort of concrete, plascrete flooring with perhaps a landing strip and perhaps some limited control. That's it.
It is
so on
rebuilding.
Thoughts, there's not much.
Well, one thing that would factor in is that it is still GDCO's headquarters, and it is trying to actively rebuild. So the codes that are there don't take into account the potential opportunities. GDCO has not by any means abandoned it. They expect it to be reconstructed in a couple of years.
Sure. We could go there and take pictures of GDCO having been humiliated and part destroyed. That might.
So Dr. Ilias has not heard anything further about Dr. Bancroft. So as far as you know thus far, he is still in stasis on Tech World. But
soundly asleep.
One thing to consider is that when he reveals himself, GDCO may take an interest in Dr. Ilias, and GDCO does seem to have an interest in Ultima 1 at this point. So whether you wish to factor that into the decision of where you're going is another consideration. But
well, the sooner the better then, before he defrosts.
Mm-hmm. So then for Dr. Ilias and Dr. Captain Gani, what would you guys, I'm already giving you your PhD from the University of Space Phoenix. What would you guys wish to do in the week or so that you've spent in the world? And do you have any thoughts on what the crew should be doing next, where you want to go next?
think Dr. Ilias will. Sorry, go on, James.
No, I was going to ask Dr. Ilias what he thought for the next, if the worked or.
Yeah, during the week, Dr. Ilias will try and relax a bit. It's been a sort of very hectic few weeks with liberation and duels and all of that. So we'll try and have a bit of downtime and just catch up on some, reading, research, things like that. In terms of future plans, I think we should definitely listen to the, gracious Aslan, who is inviting us to attend an audience with him. Seeing as he went through all of the effort to arrive here. And I think originally, what Dr. Ilias' plan was to head to Drinax. But he's happy to, he doesn't have any fixed term destination at the moment. He sort of, spent most of his time in one place and then did, got Territorial home exonerated. And so at the moment he's a bit like, oh, anything is possible. There's so many other places out there to explore. So he'd probably be up for going somewhere new. To learn something new or pick something new. So he'd be open to suggestions.
So if you wanted to go there, then we're getting nearer to the other location. Trying to find the maps. Where's the map?
It's under Tlaiwaha and the Borderland sectors. There's a little bit there. It's got a nice cut of the Tlaiwaha subsector, which is where we currently are. Yeah. I think. Go on, sorry, James.
No, sorry. So, what is Torpal like apart from that? Because if
Torpal,
if you want to go to.
So what the TAS entry says is that Torpal is a water world with no surface land. The limited population lives on the ice caps at the north and south poles of the planet or on huge stilt-supported platforms built in shallow water. The planet's primary industry is unsurprisingly fishing and producing hydrogen fuel for the trade convoys that dock here. Despite Torpal's lack of natural resources, the provost who rule the planet have proven themselves canny merchants buying and selling goods along the Florian trade route. The eccentric Florian League is a difficult trade partner, as guessing what the Florian will decide to invest in next is somewhat of an art, and the provosts have studied the demands of the distant league in order to predict what goods will sell in coming years. Torpal has also made its name as a planet for shore leave by establishing a string of pleasure ports along the tropics. Torpal's high law level is a reflection of the provost's need to keep the planet's reputation as the safest place to relax. The pleasure ports may feel wild, erotic, and untamed, but they're actually the safest place on the planet. It is part of that to protect the trade and to protect the tourists is the reason they've hired on this cruiser to kind of protect things.
Sounds great.
On our planet, they invest in helicopters and supercars. Here, they buy warships. So
it's recliners, nice drinks, fish pie. It could be quite good.
Yeah.
Our club med, you'll just need to pass by the massive warship.
I mean, Laris will very much follow what the crew want to do. He doesn't feel he has much stake really in where you go. But we're only jumped 2 away from fantasy. Surely we should go there. I don't know what's there, but wow.
Fantasy has a very funny. The inhabitants of fantasy are the descendants of a slave ship from the glorious empire. The human slaves were the product of an experiment in genetic engineering by the Aslan. Strengths like strength, endurance, and physical attractiveness were enhanced, while intelligence and the capacity for independent thought were diminished. The sex ratio was also changed, so on average, 10 females are born for every male. The planet was named by an Imperial scout who spent several years monitoring the planet.
Did he really? Monitoring the planet.
Yes. There's no prime directive in this Traveler universe, I guess.
No. It feels very much like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You imagine Kirk just happening to turn up there, Oh.
With oily pecs.
Yeah.
So, that would be the reason that Torpal's also got what? Starport is a B. Tech level is B as well. So
that would
11.
take 4.
And it has
That
a...
would take about 6 weeks to get there, though.
So there's stuff to do in the interim. You do have
Well, I'm
that
thinking about
bladder
the-
you guys purchased, so you can jump through empty space as well.
Yeah, so we could get to Drinax in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think? As fast as possible to Drinax, and then maybe Torpal, or down to Verito? What do you think, Dr. Ilias?
Well, I think we don't have enough information to make a diagnosis here. Depending on what this Aslan tells us, it might open up other avenues or give us other routes. I mean, I'm happy to travel to Vorito first before we head to Drinax, or other places if necessary. I don't have any timeline for getting to Drinax. It's just a fascinating place with a lot of advanced medical and research technology. But beyond that, you know,
Pick 15 is good. Anchor? Laris? You stranger.
I just drive where you tell me.
It would seem most efficacious for the business side of things for us to undertake, but maybe 2, if not speculative trade runs, then possibly freight and passage runs, if we think we can, and I would defer obviously to get us to Drinax, which would, if we're doing jump 2, if that's what we're doing, then that would take us to something like Pal and Pawn before getting to Drinax.
We use the bladder, though, and get there faster.
Could do.
Ultima 1, I think, if you guys are discussing this among each other, does comment that the reason, as I understand it, that you did not take passengers previously was for fear of, at least not the non-low berth passengers, was to avoid exposure for Tilatoro. If we are concealing my unique characteristics from passengers as well for fear of Judico, I am concerned I am putting you in the crew, in the same position you were with Tilatoro. You either keep him in his quarters for the duration, or you forego passengers. I had not anticipated this when I joined the crew, but so Laris may not, actually, Laris probably wouldn't know what the circumstances were. How would you guys explain to Laris Ultima 1's involvement with the crew and the threat that Judico represents to him? As an archaeologist, I imagine your reaction to Ultima 1 would be quite remarkable.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's an artifact that's fully working.
Oh, and yeah, that's precisely. I couldn't put it better. That's exactly what he finds. What the reaction would be. So, am I right in thinking that Laris would likely enjoy his company quite a bit? Because
God, yeah. I'd be endlessly asking him questions and finding out things that he wouldn't believe that he could.
Yeah. And I think that the most common Darian dialect he speaks as well. So you would be able to converse in the native, in your, native, at least if not your native tongue, then the common lingua franca for the planet. How do you guys, like, Ultima 1 is happy to defer to how it will least inconvenience the rest of the crew. And Ultima 1 will also put out that if you feel that it is inconveniencing the crew, it is not fair for him to be imposing on the rest of you in that manner.
think in terms of explaining Ultima 1's situation, Oculus would happily be open with Laris and explain that we rescued, liberated Ultima 1 from a research facility that might potentially have been subfunded by a subsidiary that is tangentially related to GDCO, and therefore they might be looking for Ultima 1.
GDCO.
For now, he leave out the part
What you got
about the
there?
rival there. Yeah, but they'll just stress that we are concerned about GDCO, not because we've done anything. No, there is a chance that they were the ultimate funding source behind this secret, hidden away research facility.
Yeah,
where
so
we
it's
liberated
a case of
Ultima 1.
GDCO. What's ours stays ours.
And they may misunderstand the,
Yeah.
motive
Yeah, so
of putting
we
one
think of it
their
as
people
liberating a sentient being from being caged and
Yeah, they
experimented
might-
on. They might call it theft.
They might
Stealing
forcefully
IP,
misunderstand. Yeah. Okay.
They
That's
have
fair
also
enough.
forcefully confined a scientist.
Oh no, he's free to go. He's just frozen.
Oh, we have, or they did.
You guys did.
We did.
I mean,
Technically,
Which I believe was the lesser of two evils in that situation, so the scientists should be grateful.
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, could he wear a wig, perhaps? And I don't know, maybe some.
There's elements of what could be concealed with Ultima 1. I don't have a handout for him yet. Let me quickly do that.
Does he have like a hollow concealing thing, or could
He has
we get him a
camouflage.
mask?
The other thing is, if we give him a room that's in the sort of bridge, general sort of crew area, not up on deck 2 where other passengers would be,
Wow.
then he could still move around parts of the ship without being exposed directly to other passengers.
I think he's going to require a full Mission Impossible head mask for this to work.
You know what? Actually, because Laris would have been acquainted with Ultima 1, because I think the two of them were working together initially,
Yeah,
right?
they were working-
on the world. That you were part of the
that's
ones
right.
to help
Yeah,
free.
you're right.
So you've at least got an impression of what he is and what he can do.
Yeah.
But it does. I mean, like you can, and also like if he was in head to toe armor, there's aspects of his physiology that would make it challenging, like those, lat implants or whatever the heck they are. That stuff might make it challenging, but not impossible for him to be concealed in armor. But then you're excusing the dude walking around in armor all the time.
Sure.
So it leaves.
Or we just take the risk. We can run the numbers on the risk profile of having him available. He looks. If he's actually here, so excuse me, Ultima 1, we're sort of discussing this around you, but you have a sort of a look that could be interpreted as some sort of high-tech android of some description, or something that we could provide. Yeah, or wait. Could provide some kind of story around you, which is far less interesting than your real story, but one that would not perhaps evoke suspicion. Don't know.
In my travels in the past, I have had to be inconspicuous at times. It is just rare that I am in a region so heavily influenced by one party looking for me, assuming that they will be looking for me.
I think they will. I think you should not underestimate just how valuable you are.
Laris has run the numbers. Like there's an at auction. So then what he can do is just one of two options. Is he can do, as you said, like do some shuffling of quarters and have him staying in the area where only the crew is accessible. You could also put protocol in place to allow travelers who aren't in low berth to only be in their cabins or in the common, lounge outside of Alonso's room. Or you just allow him to interact with the others and assume they're not. It seems that Dr. Bancroft has not been revealed yet, which means they may not know that this thing's missing, so they may not be actively looking for it. It's very unlikely that the average... I say, Ultima 1. They may not be looking for Ultima 1 as of yet. And it's unlikely that it's going to be first in their mind that... that they're looking out for Ultima 1. Ooh, what's this here?
Well, the trouble with Traveller is it's got gadgets galore. This is a disguised net, a short-range holographic projector that is essentially could mask completely the form of Ultima 1 to something else.
Yeah.
It's not cheap. A whole body would be 100,000 credits. 20,000 credits would give you a head, sort of disguised net head transformation. It's Tech 12, so it would only be available in certain places. But I'm just throwing that out there as another
that's awesome.
Possible way. Yeah.
Did you go sell one?
Probably, which would be extremely ironic. I'd love the idea. Thank you, Kenny. That's great. Anyway, it's just a thought.
That would be a perfect workaround. What's the power? So is that in the core book or is that in...
It's inevitably, it's in the CSC update, and it's on page 82.
Awesome. Okay.
I'm assuming it's okay, Kev, to sort of
100%.
Of these things. Yeah, okay.
That's exactly. It's part of the fun of this. The setting, right, is the fact that they've got all this stuff out there. Yeah, I'm totally fine with that. That'd be incredible. 100,000 credits, but so it's a full day disguise with wireless recharging possible. He actually has a wireless connection installed in him. His internal power could be powering this thing when in operation.
Yeah.
I don't want to tell you where the USB port is, but it's wireless.
Anyway, so where are we going, guys? Where are we going?
Yeah,
that is the reaction that George had when I kept talking about R2-D2 having sex with the Death Star. I was trying to describe the probe thing. What's the thing he used to fuck the Death Star? And George is like, I've not seen a full body sigh from him before. It's like, oh. Anyway, so he could, if you guys can acquire that, then it's certainly something. It is expensive. He has no resources as of yet, unless you paid him out of the the Borderland Run job, but he wasn't. I don't think he was expecting pay from that because he wasn't there when the contract was formed.
Well, I mean, we can get it, and it can be a crew thing, and come with the ship, and then he can use it when we're not needing it anywhere else.
I don't know if he watches his campaign, but I think that whatever the German phrase is for "fuck yeah," Ingolf will have said that because he has a hat. He's been wanting a hat of disguise for his character in Paradar for quite some time.
Probably the place to get this would be Drinax.
Yeah.
So why don't we go there?
Sure.
Top speed and then head on to Torpor afterwards.
Sounds great.
And if we use the bladder, we can get there in 2 jumps.
Yes. So remind me, this jump bladder or this sort of jump collapsible tank, internal tank, that adds another. Is it another 1 or jump 2? Is it
one more jump?
It's a full reload.
Yeah, it's
one
a full
more jumps.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can jump into sort of dark space, as it were. and then jump again. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe there is somebody who wants to express trip to Drinax as well.
It is a
the
more
world.
popular destination, and it's closer to the trade routes. I mean, the world is pretty close as well too. So, but if someone's going to the Florian, Maine, that would be on the way there. So,
Okay.
and if it is a matter of inconveniencing for one trip, if you want him to either hide in his quarters for the duration, or to to switch to the crew quarters, you could take on passengers from here to Drinax as well.
Yeah, sounds like a good one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, Anchor, that's better because Torpol's nearer the Imperial frontier bases.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not really losing any time.
So are we saying that we would jump into 23-26 and then jump to Pawn, POU, RNE, 23-24?
No, we'd go to...
I think we're jumping into 22-26 and then to Drinax.
22-25, right?
Depending how close you want to be to the Hyrate colonies.
Yeah.
Or 23-25.
So the collapsible tanks can provide enough fuel for a second jump too?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Oh, yes, you could do that. You're quite right.
You go to 23-25 and then...
Yeah, and then across the Drinax. Okay.
The nice thing with that too is going, depending on what your ultimate destination is going to be too, with that collapsible fuel thing, you have a 4 parsec range for transport without without having to worry about refueling or stopping in the system.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, okay. Well, that kind of decides it then. In which case, we will not be doing any speculative cargo.
I think you still got space, don't
Is there
you?
still some left?
It goes
take a look.
outside, isn't it?
Let's
It's
take
an
a look.
external tank.
I thought it was internal.
I think it's internal. Let's take a look.
Let's just check it. Let's check it.
Yeah. Is it in the Central Supply Catalog or...
I think that will be possibly
Highguard.
just in the standard. Let's have a look. So our cargo is 64.
Yeah.
Our fuel tanks for a jump 2 are 41. So if it is internal, we'll find out, then that leaves us with 23, perhaps a bit less because we've got something else in there, haven't we? So we've got about 20 tons worth of cargo left if you wanted to do some freight alongside.
Does that account for the whatever it is, the grav car or the air raft and the one hover bike? Because you guys have that, or
So
the
it's-
grav bike, whatever it's called.
So we probably ought to just note how much that all adds up to.
Because I want to say
23.
55. I thought was the operating. Is that the starting point of your cargo, or is that after?
That would make it 24 tons then. Of,
Yeah, it's in the collapsible tanks in Highguard.
it's in
Highguard.
Okay.
Yeah. It's referenced in the
Nice.
what do you call it, in the Borderland Run as one way to
Got you.
get around a little more.
Yeah. They're actually, because they don't cost a great deal.
Yeah, I feel like they introduced them like it in that one scenario in the travel adventure, searching for longer legs or something like that, and searching for longer legs way back. It's kind of neat.
Collapsible fuel tanks, also called fuel bladders, are that they take up cargo space in a ship and are used to extend the range without the need to fit mountable or drop tanks.
Oh, okay.
So drop tank is what you're
thinking.
thinking of, is the ones that can go on to like military assault ships, are external fuel tanks that are jettisoned just as the ship enters jump space.
Yeah. Yeah, they're a lot more expensive.
Yeah. Well, let's do this. We're actually well past our mid-session break. Why don't we take our mid-session break right now? Then we'll come back and finish the discussion of where you guys want to go, and then make your decision if whether you want to meet with this Aslan or not. So, for those listening at home, we'll be back in about 5 minutes. Okay. Okay, everybody listening at home, I hope you guys are having a great, or you folks are having a great weekend. A great Sunday as well. A lot of plans for the crew of the Rift Wanderer, for sure. Let's see. Apologies again for the late start. We had some tech issues, and we're having some issues with our audio this week, too. And I think it's all from fucking Zoom, which we use to capture our audio. So my apologies for the kind of poppiness in the audio thus far. We're going to try and fix that between now and next session, as I have an idea of what is probably causing it, and I have a workaround in mind. So it's not just the crew who tries to kludge things into working thus far. Also, congrats. I know there are some folks who have taken on Pirates of Drinax themselves for their crew at home, so that's awesome. Good luck with that. I think it's Jal, I think you're the one who took that on, so that is great. Hope you're having a great time getting your crew together, and have fun with whatever you're doing in the Trojan Reach. So let's see here. I'll put a reminder to the crew. Everyone's camera is off, so be sure to turn back on when you get back. Boy, I can't believe we're in our last hour already, too. Time she flies with this campaign. All right. And then. Okay. Oh, Archer, I just said there's a reference to the Babylon 5 books for Traveler. They are. They've got 3 books out for it. They're published by Mongoose for Traveler, Mongoose Traveler First Edition, but they're pretty much completely compatible with Second Edition too, and they're pretty good. There's a ship book. Maybe there's only 2. There's a ship book, like a High Guard equivalent. There's the core book. I thought there was a third one too, but I don't remember what it would be about. There's definitely 2, but they're pretty good. There's a lot of material in it. There's not a lot of art in it, so like that Babylon project that was out before by, I want to say Chameleon Electric was the publisher. That had a nicer look to it, even though the rules were kind of odd. But yeah, there is a Traveler version of for playing in Babylon 5 that looks really quite well done. Okay, so I think almost everybody's back here. Sorry to interrupt. My old man bladder reminded me that we have not had a break yet, so I desperately needed to take a break. So what? While we're waiting for your captain to return, what is the thought here then? Do we take on any extra cargo, or do you take on any extra cargo? Oh. Let's see here. Does that... Let's see.
God damn it.
Your headphones... Let's see here. Can everyone... David, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Carl, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You can hear me?
Yeah. I can hear both of you guys. James, you can hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so... just... wires, okay. Yeah, that's weird. Let's see here, just checked. I was just saying to the folks at home that we were having issues with our audio today. Let's see here. Maybe try leaving Zoom and joining. Put the link back in. Apologies for the sloppy typing there too. So let's get Graham back in here too. I think what I might actually do next on Wednesday's session is not use Zoom at all. If Zoom is the one that's been having the like popping issues with it, I might try just using either the inbuilt audio in here in Roll20 or just use the Discord for audio next time. And this year I'll be able to cancel my Zoom subscription because I otherwise don't use it anymore.
And Discord works pretty well.
That's what I've heard, yeah. Oh, got it. Okay.
Hurt cards.
So it's a Bluetooth... okay. So then, everyone other than Laris. I mean, Laris is not a owner in the ship, I suppose, anyway, but what do you guys... did we sort out how much cargo you've got left in it? I know we've gone through the weight of the air raft. I want to say the air raft is 5 tons. Is that right?
I'm back.
You're back. Excellent.
Woo!
4 tons. So the air raft is 4 tons. The grav bike is 0.5 tons. And did you buy a second one of those? Or do you guys have just the one you stole from Dr. Bancroft?
Oh, have we all got one?
Acquired.
Did we all got? I don't think we all got.
I don't think y'all
think
got
we
one.
all
But
got one.
I thought that if someone purchased a second one.
Long Kevlar overcoats.
Nice.
Easy Rider.
Yep. Yeah, the Isadora Duncan scarf. It's for sure. It's for sure.
So what
soon.
did that come to? Sorry, I missed that.
Oh, sorry. So if there is only one grav bike, then that's a total of 4.5 tons for the air raft and for the grav bike.
Right. So 4.5 tons.
And
leave us with 59.5.
yeah, you normally have 63 cargo, so 58.5, I think.
58.5. Okay. And we've got a total of fuel of 41, was it? 41 tons?
Yeah. So that's 17.5.
That's what we've got to play with.
Does the bladder itself take up any extra weight?
Well, when it's collapsed, it's 0.41 tons.
Yeah, when empty, they consume 1% of the tonnage when they are full.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 0.4. That would be that. Okay, so then no extra tonnage for it being full. So then
No, I don't think so.
That's a little bit of space you have to play with. Do you guys have cash on hand for speculative trade, or is it going to be transport once again, or mail?
I would defer to the broker. Who's our broker?
I think Captain Danny is the one with the best broker score.
Yeah, I'm the broker, but do we have any money?
We have 1.658 mega credits.
So we can see what we can find there.
Okay. Do you want to do, I guess, for the purpose of our last hour today, do we want to do speculative trade, or do you want to meet with that, the Aslan fella?
I mean, we could put a poll out to our viewers, but I reckon, for me, it would be meet the Aslan. But
Yes, meet the Aslan.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll assume, because the reason I ask as well is, like, depending on what he may want you to do, that may have an impact on what you choose to pursue as far as speculative trade is concerned, right? So then if you contact Fatakewa's vessel, they extend an invite for you to go and join them, meet them halfway, basically, from the world. So I don't think it'll consume any significant amount of fuel, but if you want to travel out and meet them partway in the system, that would be a way of doing that. And he'd have his two combats, or one of the combat scouts would come and escort you. Probably don't need that escort, but it's a unnecessary show of force by a insecure man, basically.
yeah, it's like he's got a claw and he's just pulling us in.
Yeah. Are you guys okay with that?
Might be rude to say no to such a kind invitation.
Okay. Let me grab what I need here. I'd say I'd make a joke about stats for Space Fang Dragon, but we've already encountered one, so.
Yeah.
Run the space one. This was the land Fang Dragon.
That's true. You haven't encountered a land Fang Dragon, not a Space Fang Dragon yet. All right. So, it is, let me think here. If it's half the distance from the jump point to reach him, it's got to take a couple of hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, fortunately, you've got one crew member who has been boning up on Aslan politics for weeks. Oh, wait, he's gone. Never mind.
Damn it, Dave.
So long.
So at 1G, it's probably going to take you a little more than a day to meet up with him. Anything you guys want to do during that day of travel?
No.
No? Okay. Then have you any thoughts on how to organize your meeting with Fatakewa?
We've just received an indication why he wants to meet us.
No indication. The extent of it has been that he has offered you. He's traveled seemingly from Tyok to invite you to have an audience with him.
Right. Does Laris know anything about from his contacts with the Aslan on the world? Have we learned anything from them?
No, I don't know this guy really very well. He's from deeper in system. All I know is that he's small fry with a lot of pride.
Yeah, and I can't remember if she had mentioned or not, but it did not seem particularly. He did not seem likely to think much of humans either.
No. So much so that he's travelled with 2 ships to come and see us.
Yeah,
exactly.
Interesting.
So, as you guys, when you guys, unless there's anything else you wish to do in the transit, we'll skip to when you're reaching where the Aslan vessels are. You do find the combat scout catches up to you and on a wide angle does a fairly menacing turn to, to get in kind of an optimum fire position behind you. And
Captain Ganny, permission to lock our was it what have you got, a beam laser or something?
You got a beam laser and a sandcaster, I think, on this ship.
Okay.
Is that right, guys?
Yeah.
Is it pulse or beam? Do we know?
Don't remember.
I don't remember. Okay. Anyway. Okay.
Okay. So this thing is much more maneuverable and much faster than what yours are, to the point where you get within about an hour of transport of meeting up with the inbound other vessel. It kind of like zips ahead to catch up with it so that you get the proper, like, one big ship 3 times the size of your vessel and the 2 escorts coming in. Someone that really has a priority on pomp and circumstance. When you do reach there, they will have the proposed docking, rather than you docking with the clan transport. They intend to have one of the combat scouts collect you and then bring you over to the clan transport. They don't really present it as this is what we propose. Anyone have any issues with that? Or are you okay to go along with this?
I mean, we shouldn't abandon the ship, though.
You have Ultima 1, who will be staying on board here.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there any... anyone else who wishes... technically, I guess Alonzo is also on board. I mean, he's recording his podcast, but he is technically on board. Is everyone else going to join in this audience with Fatakewa?
Will he be surprised to see me? I mean, he's particularly wanted to see the crew of the Rift Wanderer, of which I was not a party. I can attend, but I'm not one of the people that he will be expecting to see. I'm not a name that he will know. You may want to use that, but I don't know. I'm happy to stay on the ship if you would rather.
Does Laris speak Troc?
I don't think so.
Don't think so? Okay.
He might... let me just check.
I can't remember if he would have, he does seem like a bit of a dilettante, and given his time with the other ones, I wonder if he's picked up some phrases or stuff.
I think that's quite possible, and if not, I do have XP to spend, so maybe I'll spend it on some Troc,
What do you guys think? Laris come aboard? Laris stay behind?
I'm happy for Laris to be there. Might throw the other one off. Undermine his pomp a little bit. Or it'll be a case of he can't tell one human from another if he has such a dim view of.
Oh, there is that. Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a great deal of truth to that. If you run that past any of the Aslan you do know, they would likely say that, in fairness, you are very hard to tell apart. So, then, with the entire crew, you guys are first brought aboard the Combat Scout, which I have the layout for it, but I did not think to bring it on. It is a very cramped environment in which you are going to be kept until you get transported over, but it's only a matter of minutes for them to get over to mate with the other vessel and then to allow you to cross over. The clan vessel itself is a much more the Combat Scout, from what you've seen, seems like any other kind of vessel. There's some aspects of the design that are obviously Aslan, but there isn't, and there's probably a different smell to the air that is carried in it than what you would on a human vessel. On the other, it seems as if someone has been burning incense, because when you step out, the whole place has a very, earthy, in the sense of the smell of leather and the smell of wood, on here. Something you typically don't pick up on the recycled air aboard a starship, especially one that's been in transit for, more than a week, like this one likely has. You were brought down to what is effectively a shrine. For vessels this size, there are clan shrines where they have a place of honor for the members of the clan. And when you make your way in there, escorted by armed guards, of course, you are introduced to the site of Fatakewa. He is wearing full ornamental combat armor. So it is probably equivalent to your battle dress, as are his guards. Laris, why don't you give us your archaeology check? There may be something you may be able to pick up here.
Okay. All right, let's see how I do. Gosh, got to roll some dice.
Oh, Brian, thanks very much for the Discord. Brian said in chat that Discord has been good for his weekly game, so thanks for that. Also, yeah, I totally agree, LSO. Our comms might be G-Decode jamming comms. Totally agree. Look at that roll, though. Holy smokes. Nice. So, Laris, here's the thing. It's either... Yeah. When you see this armor, the first thing you think is, there's some passing familiarity you've got with this. Yeah, this is really impressive and likely very expensive armor. It's pretty new.
Oh. It's still squeaking.
Yeah. This is the, the more... What's the old Earth reference? He seems like the Gatsby of... he's really tried, hasn't he? He's spent money. Really tried.
He's
they
really
break out
tried.
they break out into the new money dance.
Exactly. Did I not mention that Elihase translates to Daisy in Galanglic? Or no? That's my last Fitzgerald reference for the day. We only have 20 or 38 minutes left too, though, so that's probably a blessing. He is, however, holding himself up as very, very, very important, and thinks that this, him looking down at you all from this, flanked by other battle dress wearing Aslan, is going to be particularly impressive. I mean, any one of these guys, if they turn their weapons on you, it would be a very, very short fight, given what they're wearing. But no one's threatening, everyone's posturing. He gestures for you to come inside the shrine. and his guards sort of like gesture. If you don't come in at the prompting, his guards will kind of not touch you, but gesture as if you should go in.
And just to confirm, Laris has Troch 1.
Nice.
So I can speak the language, and if there's anything going on, like if they may not realise that, I don't know if they do, but if there's any sort of whispering going on, I may pick it up.
Awesome. You would be the last one to. I mean, again, you're all look kind of alike, but if there was any, muttering or whatnot, I'll let you know. He does have. You can see there is a device that you would recognize as like an Aslan translation device. Yeah, so clearly, this guy doesn't speak Galanglic, but he says through the translation device, "You need not kneel. I welcome you to my ship." I think, Laris, you've got enough of a familiarity with it. Like, it would not be expected you would kneel before someone who's not your lord, so...
No.
"Speak your names. I am Fatakewa." And then he says a couple of other things that are translated as just like, meaningless sort of, titles. He's the kind of person who puts every degree he has at the end of his email, right? Yeah. So... And he then turns to you for you to do your introductions.
Elias will step forward and, having spent some time around, Aslan will do whatever, not the kneeling, but whatever would be sort of a polite bow or hand gesture to greet someone like him. Say, "I am Dr. Elias Abdel, at your service."
Nods.
What's the procedure? I mean, are we supposed to do it in some sort of order? I don't know.
I would think the captain likely would do the introductions for the rest of you.
Yeah, if he wasn't on mute. So,
Tomo!
Yay!
I am Captain Garni of the Rift Wanderer, and this is Anchor, our experienced pilot, and here we have Laris Sathu as well, our onboard archaeologist.
"I was not informed that you were a science vessel."
You could never learn too much as you travel. Surprisingly lucrative too sometimes.
"Your names came to me for your actions in service to the Ehate Tiletoril. We will witness to your triumph on his behalf at Tyok. Where is the champion who stood in for Tiletoril as his..." And he says something, and then like the translation matrix seems to be having difficulty with the word, and then he says it again, and then he says it again, and it finally comes through as second.
All right.
And then you hear him cursing at that. This does not seem top of the line tech he's using. So
Dane is at Tiletoral's side.
"He is not among your crew any longer."
Sadly, no. Yes, they can have a different position.
He gestures to whoever is operating the translating device to turn it off for a second. And then he turns to someone else to say, and so you would pick this up, Laris, but he turns to the other one and she's like, "The champion is not with them any longer? How did you not know this?"
How did you not know? Yeah.
So the other one says that no, but whoever responds speaks some very flattering words about the crew, suggesting that it was not just him; it was the crew effort. And he says, "But without the warrior, no, my lord, there is still much they can offer. There's much cleverness in them." And he gestures to have the translation device reactivated.
I wonder who the person is that's talking to him. That's it.
Likely, I mean, there is sort of like a seneschal role or like advisor role among them as well. It does seem that he's wearing one of the same sort of guard uniforms. I should have loaded this thing because it is pretty fucking cool, but the uniform that the guards are wearing... Oh, did I already load something like that? I think from when you guys were on Tyok. I mean, you had the Reaver's axes, I know. Where are they here? Vargar sidekick. If I happen to have it, that's cool. If not, I'll just... Dang, I didn't. Oh, it was the gravity spears they had.
Yeah.
Right. I loaded the picture of that, but not the actual cool battle dress. Yeah, there's the ceremonial armor. So it looks like...
Ooh. Oh, nice.
So basically, yeah. I mean, Halo with like cantilevered or backwards knees. It's not cantilevered, I always get that wrong, but... so he activates the translation device again and says... Were you... You have demonstrated a familiarity with our superior culture that I would not expect of humans.
We're not all human.
Yes. I've heard of your kind, Vargar. You, as a crew, know much of our ways. How did you come to learn so much?
Yeah, the fortune of traveling with one of you who was willing to share some of the insights into your culture and picked up a few things.
And for my part, I have had the privilege of spending a full year working side by side with fellow Aslan.
Then you are familiar with the role the Ihate play in our kind.
Yes.
He looks down at the armored person once again, kind of nods. I have an offer.
Here it comes.
That I wish to honor you with. And ignorant as humans, and Vargar as you may be, I trust with your limited knowledge of our kind, you will appreciate the honor it draws. And the confidence in which I will be bringing you by presenting this offer. My son, whose name is Fatatias, an honorable name, he has declared Ihate as well. Again, I know we all went to fucking grade school with Fatatias, but that's how we're spelling it for this guy.
I'll do.
Fatatias announced that he would seize land as is befitting a Ihate. But we do not know what has befallen him since traveling to the world of Thebes.
Thebes.
You guys would know Thebes. Let me bring on over here. is actually a little ways away from here. You are on the world currently. Thebes is all the way up here on the Florian main, or Sindalan main.
Okay.
Well, if we're going to Torpol,
anyone have any skill they think might give them some knowledge about local, like any little tidbits you might know offhand about planets in that region?
Unless it's known for its medics or its art, I don't think so.
You studied genetics, right, Dr. Elias?
Yes, yes.
So I'll set the difficulty at a, let's say a 10, and give us a genetics roll. You may have come across something. Ooh, that was a snake eyes, was it?
One.
Nope.
Yeah, definitely.
No.
Yeah.
One of luck.
no.
Yeah.
So here's something you know about a bit of a curious thing about Thebes, given the person who's speaking to you. Thebes was another one of these places that collapsed during the Empire of Sindal, but at some point, somebody thought it'd be wise to genetically engineer a species of lion called the Theban lion that was seems to have established itself as a apex predator on that planet right now. It is somewhat of a cautionary tale of being overly aggressive in your creative genetic engineering and then not keeping the cages locked. That is a Theban lion.
Yeah, it's on the first year syllabus and in the ethics chapter.
Yeah, exactly. One of the little like call-out boxes. So you're aware of that, which is curious that it's a curious coincidence, an Aslan species that uneducated might think were descended from lions, and yet there's this. It seems so he carries on, you just are aware of this, that he was, it seems, unsuccessful in his efforts. And while he is Ihate and not part of our clan proper, and the foolishness of Ihate should fall on their own heads, he is my son. Anyone have... Oh, gosh, I hate using recon just for this. See if you can get anything from his inflection or from his thing. Maybe streetwise or diplomacy or something like that.
If someone has deception.
Deception would be exceptional for that. Deception and intellect.
Okay.
If anyone wants to make a roll for that.
I have +2.
Go for it.
Yep.
So we're doing diplomat with intellect? Or...
Diplomat with intellect might be good as well. Because you made
Can
me
I
draw
pick anything up from his use of Troch?
Yeah, maybe.
No, not to worry. We're well in here.
Yeah.
12s.
Okay, great. That's great from both of you guys. All right, so then here's what you pick up is, for one, for the diplomat side of things, obviously this is not something he's happy to be asking about. It's also, from what you've heard, like, Ihate sort of sink and swim on their own. There's got to be more to this than what he's telling you right now, Captain Gani, because from the context of dealing with Tila Toril took it upon himself to go and get back and recover the honor that the lost honor that he may have caused the clan. Maybe this guy's got something similar going on that he's not being forthright with, but it is weird that he, from what Tila Toril told you, there was never a position where his father would help him out. If anything, that would be seen as dishonorable, right? Of trying to influence him. Although some money did come through a back channel to pay for you guys to get him back. So this may be just a more clumsy and direct way of doing what you guys got through the Borderland Run. As far as deception is concerned, Anchor, the way he talked about, the inflection in his voice for the way he talked about his son, there's a great deal more worry in there than concern about shame. So, there seems more to this request than what he's on the face, and the way that he has spoken about his son, there's a peak to the way he says it that makes you think that it's a pain point. There's something that is not just, as a, nouveau riche, minor, noble type person, it's someone who appearances are a big deal. You likely met people like this before, but there's something more to what you're picking up, Anchor, to this. There's something genuine in that concern beyond just how it'll look to the whatever the Joneses are in Aslan culture. I would, with the discretion you showed to Tilitoril and his clan, travel to Thebes and recover my son. If you confirm his death, I will pay. If you rescue him, I will pay double. And if you recover him and his vessel, I will double it again. I trust that you understand as humans and Vagar the honor this offer represents.
Laris is thinking all sorts of things, but he's keeping them as internal thoughts right now.
He has not yet set a price. So, with your 10 on the genetics too, do you want to give me 2 more luck to have more context for that? Dr. Ilias?
Yeah.
So as he's talking and you're thinking about, like, okay, so Thebes, he wants to go to the Lions. You guys want to guess a popular destination for sport or trophy hunters in the region?
That place, probably.
Yeah.
And do you think that the discerning bigot makes any difference between the Lions, the Thebes, and Aslan, who are there?
It's kind of like the equivalent of Space Dick Cheney in the woods.
Exactly. We'll have the Aslan apologize for getting shot. So this probably all comes together in your mind as well, Dr. Ilias, for what you know about the Lions of Thebes, the common activities that brings those from other, those from other parts of the sector. A lion of Thebes is the kind of thing that is like a once-in-a-lifetime hunt, too. Like, it's such an unusual and dangerous creature that for those who are inclined towards that kind of thing, it is it is a thing that would be kept on mantles and passed down and made rugs and whatnot. So, what is your response? You are obviously stunned by my generosity and the recognition of honor. He looks down at his colleague. Bring them to their chamber so you might discuss amongst yourself and deem a proper response. He gestures. The door to the shrine opens up once again, and the guards will gesture for you to have a place where you can talk amongst yourselves. Obviously, there will be no listening devices in there. Come on, guys. To suggest otherwise, come on. So, will you leave, or do you wish to say anything to him before you depart?
Lilius will ask how long ago his son went off to become a Hate and has been sort of missing in action.
He has been gone now 2 Earth, 2 human months. But if he lives, he will have survived there.
We'll confer and give you an answer.
He looks at his armored seneschal. The seneschal kind of nods like, come on. Confer, then. And you guys are led out, brought down to another, effectively like a ready room kind of thing. Walk in there. It's decorated with a bunch of Aslan cultural, objects and whatnot. Again, Laris, like a lot of this shit, this is no more than like 100 years old. So, but you have privacy to speak. Now, there's observations I think that each of you have made that the others do not yet know.
Yeah, he's very concerned about his son, more than you would think.
Which is unusual, is my understanding of this Ihate situation. But he's acting on the concern. I assume lots of Aslan parents might be concerned, but will not act to support.
Yeah, I'd speculate on that. I'd say his son is still his blood. Remember, he's not a high-ranking noble. He has limited resource and probably limited family. And the loss of something like this would tell even more strongly for someone like him. It is a great shame, I would say, for him, despite all his bravado, to come to a group of humans and Vagra, and I may say Darian, and ask us to basically pull his son out of the fire.
Yeah.
Only if word gets out, I assume.
Yeah. And he's only doing this because of your reputation.
And then the initial thought I had is, and I'll mention the genetically modified lion big game hunters. One possible fate that might have befallen our young Ihate is being mistaken for one of the Theban lions, or running into the wrong group of big game hunters.
And to give, I don't think I need to put a point on this, but like to give a way of thinking about this is imagine a place where people go to hunt apes and then instead decide to kill and skin humans. That's how horrifying and how humiliating that potential outcome would be for an Aslan. So if what Anchor picked up, that there was concern there, even setting aside the concern for his son himself, which does seem to be the genuine concern, how fucking humiliating is it knowing that there's a human noble or, you know, wealthy traveler will be traveling along with his son's head or his son's skin as a trophy?
I mean, that could cause an incident, I'm sure.
I'm inclined to help. We're sort of heading in that direction anyways, right, Captain? Drinax, Torpol, it's not far from...
Yeah, no, exactly. Go to Torpol and then head on.
So could endeavor to look into it without making any promises that, yeah, it's been months. Might be hard to find out what happened. And hopefully nothing of this nature happened.
He hasn't set a time limit, but I assume that he will want us to set off and head in that direction quickly. So we would have to, I suspect, maximize our journey to get there.
Let me bring you over to the map so you guys can plan accordingly if you...
What was the figure he quoted?
He hasn't yet.
No.
I believe he did not give any numbers.
I mean, you know, although he's dealing with the important things, which is honor and life and so on and so forth, he hasn't, you know, tawdry numbers and trading isn't something that's key to him, but he'll know that we're just scummy humans who can't think beyond the next paycheck. So he would have been surely briefed that we're expecting some figure from him.
Mm-hmm. So the great news, guys, it seems it's only 21 feet away. So that's, you know, it would be, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, or 5 jumps to reach
5 jumps, yeah.
In one run. I can't remember if you can get it there shorter. I think 5 jumps is the, when I was
that's the minimum.
Looking at it before.
Yeah, that's the fastest way.
So it's going to be over 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 6, 7 weeks.
I mean, we have stuff on the way, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, is it
He'll
reasonable
want us to
where we're going? Towards where we're going?
He'll want us to recover, and therefore, if we do find him, we'll have to bring him back.
And the ship as well. He mentioned the ship is whatever base fee he had in mind, he would double it if you bring his son back, and he'll double it again if you bring the ship back. If he's that concerned about the cost of the ship, do you think that means anything?
It's going to be damn expensive.
Yeah, it'll be out of all proportion to what he's going to pay us. Even if it's just a small scout-like ship, it's still going to be big mega credits.
So I guess my point being, if an Ahate is supposed to be going out and seeking their own fortune on this, why the fuck is his dad concerned about the cost of the ship?
Did he nick it?
Yeah, maybe he stole it.
He could have nicked it, or dad is financing, you know, Sonny's first Ihate, which is probably not something you're supposed to do.
Possibly, and it's not something he can particularly, I would suggest, heavily be able to afford.
T.A. Jackson chat raises an interesting point. Could there be something special about the ship?
Yeah. I mean, a ship...
That he went all out, and then like, oh, no, it's
I mean, if someone stole our ship, we'd go all out.
Well, but Larry, you raised an interesting point. What is the going rate for this sort of rescue mission? It's not something I've personally done before.
As comparison, you can see what you were paid last time, which was...
Was it?
Let's see here. It wasn't as contingent on results, but last time you were paid 500 per ton of the ship per week, or 900 per ton of cargo space per week, whatever was higher, which was about 8,000 per ton or 14,400 per ton of cargo space for the full 16 weeks.
I mean, if you wanted to barter, you could say this is the price that the mighty Tila could pay. I'm sure your clan is equally strong.
Do you wish to reply to Fatah, or is there anything else you want to consider?
I mean, are we doing this? I'm interested. If Anchor has a vote, if we vote. We don't have to vote.
Of course you have a vote. We all have a vote, Anchor. We're part of the crew.
Well, I know, but you are the owners of the... I just fly the thing.
Yeah, sure.
You fly very well, so, you know.
Yes, I'm, you know.
I mean, from a helping out, a concerned dad, if we're in the neighborhood anyways, I've not been to Thebes. They've done some interesting research in sort of genetics and modifications. Just from a purely sort of professional point of view, would be interesting to swing by.
Yeah.
Captain Garney makes an almost imperceptible sigh.
It'd be interesting to see one of these creatures. They're that impressive. Take pictures.
Dr. Ilias,
that is the proper way to shoot them.
Most definitely, and likely with as long of a lens as you possibly can get. They're exceptionally dangerous.
No, it's...
Laris, what about you?
I don't understand.
Interesting enough, Thebes used to be part of the Sindalan Empire.
Oh, curious.
It was bombed into non-existence, but it is potentially an archaeological site.
Yeah, I mean, I think Laris's position will be he will defer to the common view of the crew, which is a very daring thing to do, is to sort of look for consensus where possible.
Do we know about the Sindalan artifact Laris has? Or is that not common knowledge about it?
Yeah, no, I've shared that. Yeah.
I mean, I vote in favor of saying yes.
Okay. That's 2 in favor?
Yes. I mean, we're going to go... Drinax and Torpor are things that we wanted to visit in any case, right? So...
It is en route, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah, if we go to Torpol, it's 2 charts from there.
Mm-hmm. And Drinax, we wanted to go to, upgrade stuff and make sure that that Ultima 1 is taken care of.
Okay. Captain, what say you?
So how much is this if we quadruple it?
Sorry, guys, you're actually breaking up again. This fucking audio is pixelating. Try again, James.
So how much is it worth to us if we quadruple it in total?
If you ask him what the pay will be, just so you can consider that before making a decision.
What's the base?
Yeah.
To go, to complete a proper survey for what happened to him, and to report back, 250,000. To bring his son back, 500,000 credits. And if you also recover the ship, 1 mega credit. And because of your connection and continued connection to Tila, he will grant Tila a persisting 5% discount on all trade with his allies. And it turns out he's allied with one of the major one of the houses that does conduct trade through this region, which would give Tila a persisting 5% discount on all things purchased in support of his Ehate activities.
That's quite a sweetener.
Yeah.
If we were Tila.
Yeah.
I'm sure Tila will appreciate us being able to say, hey, good news. Not only have we saved you, but we continue to be, good friends and allies.
Is that enough?
I'm just thinking, what's your guess, Laris, of how much we'd make out of trade over 2 months?
We would make... well, mail and cargo, if we weren't using the collapsible tanks and we were staying to our 2 jump fuel capacity, it's quite variable. I would suggest we would make, in one run, if we do well, about 150,000. 3 runs, we might make up to something like 450, but that is, it's slightly variable depending on the lots that we get and so on.
So I guess we need to make sure we keep doing the freight.
Yeah,
even if these are suboptimal runs, because the freight will make more money than this job will.
Yeah.
Well, that's overall, in a month. This is 50,000 a week you're making.
Yeah.
Effectively,
it's a nice top up, and
that's at the bare minimum too.
And what's to say we can't trade on the way, right? I mean,
50,000 a week if you don't find him. 100,000 a week if you do find him. If you find him in the ship, that's 200,000 a week.
I mean, bear in mind if we're sticking with freight and mail. I mean, mail is variable depending on our destination, but freight is freight.
I think my point is we don't want to forego the freight, so we'll maybe be a bit slower by picking up some freight and dropping it off.
We could also do investigations on the way, right? If he lets us know what kind of ship it was, we can, when we jump into, because I mean, if someone took the ship, they're not going to keep the ship there. I mean, I would suspect. If I were a ship pirate type, which I'm not saying that I am, nor were my ancestors, but you got to move that ship. Well, unless it's been shot down, right?
Okma, not for nothing, is another pirate haven.
Oh, good.
Which one is that?
Okma is 2 parsecs away from Thebes along the way.
Well, we could find out information along the way
I've
too.
I've heard bad things about Marduk. So.
Marduk is another actual water world.
Oh,
yeah.
I like water worlds.
Mm-hmm.
But that raises a good point. We assumed as a Yahate he had a crew with him.
Right.
Yep.
It wasn't just him alone in the ship, right? He wouldn't have needed a crew and warriors to support whatever adventures he got into. So it's not just him who disappeared and has been heard from. It's potentially dozens, if not more, people.
Yeah. Depends how big the ship was, right? We gotta get that intel.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think we lose nothing by saying yes to this.
Right.
Yep. Okay.
Then, guys, with that, we have a job and an end of a session. So, for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for part 2 of the Pirates of Drinax leg of our campaign. As is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the campaign, or the game we're playing, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I'll endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. There's also a link down below to the Dungeon Musings Discord server, where we have a channel dedicated to the Borderland Run campaign, as well as most other games and campaigns we run on the channel, as well as other things like finding a group or GM discussion, There is a really great community that has built up over the years over there, and you are more than welcome to join us. There's also a link down below to to our friends at Noble Knight Games. Noble Knight Games is the preeminent unionized retailer of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs in North America. Very well approved by the Free Spurl League. They have not only a great selection of new role-playing games, board games, and card games, they have an unmatched selection of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs. If they don't have something in stock that is listed in their extensive catalog, you can put it on a want list, and they'll send you an email when it comes in. And if you make a purchase of $10 or more through their website, be sure to enter the code MuserMashup. All caps, all one word, is listed down below. You'll save yourself 10% in your purchase. That'll change at the end of the month, so if you're listening to this after September 30th, 2024, come back to one of our more recent videos and you'll find what the discount code is there. There's also a link down below to something called Heroes Save Villages, which is the charity fundraising campaign we run on the channel. It benefits the SOS Children's Villages International Charity, an incredible organization active in over 130 countries, benefiting over 80,000 orphaned and abandoned children. All donations through that link go directly to that organization. None of it comes to the channel or any other middleman. It just goes to help out the kids who benefit from their services. And as a small way of saying thank you, from now to the end of the year, we're running a series of mashup campaigns or mashup sessions. These are charity sessions where we take a module or classic campaign that is designed for one game and we run it with something it's not designed to be played with. We have played one session of the Expedition to the Barrier Peaks module, played with Acton Cthulhu 2D20. The next weekend we'll be playing a session inspired by the classic Call of Cthulhu module or campaign, Masks of Nyarlathotep. And that'll be played with Lex Arcana, the very cool investigative fantasy game set in a fantasy version of Imperial Rome. We have 3 more sessions after that, so if you have donated $25 or more since the start of the year, head on over to the Charity Initiatives channel on the Dungeon Musings Discord server, and you'll be able to vote for the remaining 3 mashups. Our next one's going to be an interesting one, I think. Well, I mean, they've all been interesting, but the next one that'll be voting will open up next weekend. It's going to be one of our more unusual pairings. The last thing I will say is a huge thank you to our stalwart travelers. So, James, Carl, David, and Graham, thank you so much for joining me back aboard the Rift Wanderer today. Congratulations on making yet another deal with yet another Aslan. What fleet do you serve, Captain? I'm beginning the question.
It's all about gathering intel.
Exactly. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time, but until then, we hope that we gave you a few hours to take your mind off the troubles of our world and think about the troubles that our stalwart crew of the Rift Wanderer are encountering. And until we see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy gaming.